I am Coach Lindsay. Welcome to today's stretch class. We are going to be doing a post-workout type of stretch recovery class today. So this is actually one of my favorite personal stretching routines that I try to do after every single workout. It's really good just to stretch out every big muscle group of the body. And we're just gonna take some time to kind of just get mobilized here in the lower body and the upper body. So we're gonna start standing up today and then we're gonna end on the ground. So just be prepared for that, but I won't have you going up and down today, which will be nice. So two things that you will need or at least want to consider to have with you today, some type of foam roller or like a yoga block. So we're not actually gonna be using the foam roller for foam rolling purposes. We're gonna be using it just as a support. So if you have a yoga block or any kind of thing just to give you a little bit of elevation off the floor would be perfect. And then the other thing that you're gonna need, especially if you have a little bit of trouble when you're down on the floor with your knees, is some sort of padding or blanket or pillow, something to toss up under those knees for those stretches that we're gonna be doing on the floor today. So that's all you really need, but of course you don't technically need these, it's just kind of beneficial to have. So we'll toss those aside. We're actually gonna be using the foam roller or yoga block for our first stretch here, but we're gonna start with a hamstring stretch. So we're gonna start with our feet close together here. Roll those shoulders back away from our ears here. And we're gonna take our arms all the way up, really open up that chest, big inhale. And then as we exhale, we're just gonna forward fold down out in front, okay? So I'm gonna show you from a side view. We wanna keep those legs nice and straight with just a slight bend in the knees here. So I want you to kind of just allow yourself to fall forward as far as your body will let you. Obviously you do not have to touch the ground. I can't even touch the ground, but you can grip the back of your calves if you need some extra support for the lower back. Or this is where your foam roller or yoga block comes into play. So place it down in front of you and just let your hands rest on it to take that tension off of your lower back. And you should really start to feel that stretch in the base of your hamstrings here. You wanna try to push those hips backwards so that you're not relying so much on your lower back, and keep those legs nice and straight here. So kind of breathe into this stretch here. Just let yourself hang. And then what we're gonna do is we're going to slowly roll ourselves back up. So hunch that back forward, roll up nice and slow. We're actually gonna do that two more times here. So deep breath, in and out, open up that chest, and then allow yourself to forward fold, again, keeping those legs nice and straight. Fall on top of that support that you have, or just let yourself dangle out in front like this. And each time that you kind of repeat this stretch, you might be able to fall or lean a little bit more forward because your muscle is a little bit more lengthened at this point, a little bit more stretched out. So pay attention to that. See if that flexibility kind of improves as we start to do this stretch here. And then go ahead and roll yourself back up. I like to hold each for about 10 to 15 seconds. And then last time here, Mighty Family. So big inhale, reach those arms all the way up, open up that chest. And then we're gonna forward fold into that hamstring stretch. Again, you might feel yourself a little bit closer to those toes than the first time. That's kind of the goal. If you're kind of feeling that lower back pressure, bring that support, that yoga block or foam roller back in with you. Keep those legs nice and straight here. Big deep breath in and out. Excellent. When you're ready, roll yourself back up here, nice and slow. Elongate that spine. And this time we're gonna take that hamstring stretch wide. Go ahead and bring your legs a little bit wider. So you're gonna wanna play around with the width of your legs here. Get a feel for what feels best. But I like to take mine a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. And then we're going to still, again, push that butt backwards, keep those legs nice and straight. And for this one, you can let your hands dangle in the middle. If you're flexible enough, you can see if you can't touch the ground, just make sure your legs stay nice and straight. You can grab the base of the shin or the calf muscle there, or like I said, you can have that foam roller as support. I like to have the foam roller. That way I can play around with my width here with my feet. It's kind of nice to go a little bit wider for a deeper inner thigh stretch. So we're just gonna let our bodies kind of sit in the stretch here for just a little bit. Don't forget to breathe, inhale and exhale. Remembering to keep your legs nice and straight here. Just a slight bend in the knee is all. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our body, our front torso to the left here. So you can take your block with you if you need that support. Otherwise, what you're gonna wanna do is try to grab your ankle here, and this is gonna start to work the inner part of your thigh or your hamstring a little bit more. So again, play around with the width of your feet here. Use that yoga block. Take those feet a little bit wider if you need a deeper stretch. Stretching is all about just kind of adjusting a little bit as you go, just to kind of get the best feeling, right? You wanna make sure you're getting a nice deep stretch here. Excellent job. All right, couple seconds here, and then we're gonna transition to that right side. So up to you, you can kind of keep your body down low and transition, or you can come back up for a little bit of a break on that lower back. Take a deep breath. And then get right back into that stretch here on the right side. So bring that yoga block over, use that as support. That's gonna take a lot of pressure off that lower back. If you can touch your toes, more power to you. I definitely encourage it. That's kind of the full range of motion flexibility that you can get with this stretch. But you wanna make sure you're not feeling any pain with stretching. I think that's the biggest thing with, especially post-workout stretches, is it's really just designed to help that muscle recover. We don't wanna feel any pain. We're not really striving for maximal flexibility here. We're just getting everything stretched out and recovered here. Excellent job. Go ahead and slowly come back up here. Nice and easy. Bring those feet together. Shake those legs out, roll those ankles out. We are done with the foam roller for now, so you can toss that aside. And we're gonna get into a shoulder stretch now. So this time we're gonna go ahead and take those shoulders, roll them away from your ears, just to make sure we're nice and reset in the upper body here. Starting with your left hand, bring that left hand aside across your chest here. Keep that left arm nice and straight. Shoulder should be away from your ear. We don't wanna see this. We wanna see that shoulder nice and drawn away from the ear. Pulling at the forearm here. Big inhale and exhale. Try to pull a little bit more closer to your body. Get a deeper stretch here in that posterior shoulder. Excellent job. Go ahead and release. Let those arms dangle. Shake them out. And starting with that right side again, pulling that right side over, drawing that shoulder away from your ear, holding onto that forearm there. Make sure you're staying nice and tall. Big inhale and exhale. As you inhale and exhale this next time, try to bring that arm a little closer to your body, get a deeper stretch there. Slight bend in the elbow is okay. We don't want to see this though, so make sure you're paying attention to that form with that stretch there. Excellent job. Go ahead and release those arms, shake them out, roll those shoulders away from your ears, couple shoulder rotations here. And then we're gonna get into a tricep stretch here. So I will show you what the original stretch looks like. I'll give a modification for those of you that can't lift your hands above your shoulders. So tricep stretch looks like this. We're gonna start with that left side. We're just gonna take our hand and pat ourselves on the back here. And then we're gonna take that right hand and we're going to pull that elbow back, okay? Just as far until you feel that stretch right here in that tricep muscle. Now, if you have some shoulder mobility limitations, you can do the same stretch, but this time, this is where you do want to pull that elbow and pat yourself on the back this way. So either one will work. Play around with whatever feels best on your shoulder there. And remember to stay nice and tall, back nice and straight. Excellent job. Go ahead and release, let those arms fall down. It's always kind of nice just to let the pressure fall down. And then same thing on that right side here. So take that right hand, pat yourself on the back there and use that left hand to pull that elbow back, okay? So with this, you know, you can kind of play around with it. A lot of tricep stretches, you can pull your elbow to the side. You're gonna get more of a stretch here. If you pull it directly back, you're gonna get a whole tricep stretch here. So it's okay to play around with whatever feels best. I kind of like to do a little bit of both here when I'm doing this stretch. Remembering your modification if you have shoulder limitations. Excellent, go ahead and release, letting those arms fall down. Always nice to feel that warmth kind of just trickle down your arms as you're doing these stretches. So next we're gonna move on to that upper back. So we're gonna take our hands, we're gonna interlock them straight out in front of us, and then we're going to reverse that palm and we're gonna hunch that back. So a side view, you can see you wanna keep your back up until about your mid back nice and straight, and we're just rolling the shoulders here. So you can draw your belly button to your spine to get a little bit of core engagement for support with the lower back here. And we're keeping those hands straight out in front of us. And then we're gonna take our hands up, slowly straighten that back. And then we're going to let our arms fall. So we're gonna do that 2 more times, similar to our first stretch where we try to get a little bit of deeper range of motion here. So interlock those fingers, round the palms, round the upper back here. And then when you're ready, go ahead and lift, open up that chest, letting the arms fall nice and slow, nice and easy down. Last one here, so interlock those fingers, palms goes nice out. Again, keeping your back nice and straight up until the middle of your back, and then you're rounding your shoulders only. And then go ahead and extend up one last time. Really open up that chest here. Big good morning stretch. Excellent job, mighty family. Roll those shoulders down away from your ears a few times. Moving on to a little bit of a core stretch here. So we're gonna take our hands, eagle arms basically. So we're gonna take our arms and hug ourselves, and then we're just gonna do some core rotation. So here you can kind of go at your own pace. I like to take it nice and slow, hold on one side for a couple seconds. You wanna make sure that you are only twisting at your hips, so you're not moving your entire body to the side. You're just twisting that core here. So nice lower back stretch, core stretch as well. Keep that back nice and straight, nice and tall here. Let's do a few more rotations here. Last one on each side. Excellent job. Release those hands. Now we're gonna make our way down to the floor. So slowly go ahead and take your time, get down on the floor. We're gonna just start with a runner's lunge, okay? So this is where you're gonna wanna make sure that you have that mat or blanket or pillow, whatever, handy. So we're gonna start with our left leg forward. Place that mat right up underneath of your right knee, just for a little bit of extra cushion and support if you need it. And then with a runner's lunge, we wanna make sure that we're kind of tucking our pelvis under. So we're not pushing forward like this. We're tucking that pelvis so that we're getting a good stretch here in the hip flexor. So tuck your pelvis under and then lean forward. So lean forward is whatever position feels the best, where you're getting a good stretch the quadricep and the hip flexor here, but you're not feeling any cramping or pain. So you can keep your hands on your hips for this one. You can place them on top of your left leg. There are no rules, whatever feels most comfortable for you. And we're just gonna sit in this runner's lunge. Feel free to kind of take a little bit of an extra press forward if you're feeling you're not getting a deep enough stretch. But one thing to remember with stretches like this is we don't want to bounce. Okay, so we don't want that dynamic movement. That's not really stretching out your muscle. So find a good comfortable position, hold it for a little bit, and then you can lean more into it if you need to, versus bouncing back and forth. Stay nice and tall, chest is nice and open. And then when you're ready, we're gonna go ahead and switch sides. So pull yourself back, have a wall next to you for support if you need it. And then this time your right leg is gonna go forward and you're gonna place that mat up under your left knee. Once you have that good position, again, we're tucking that pelvis under and then pushing forward here with that back leg. Feel free to take your left leg out a little wider too if you need that deeper stretch. So again, trial and error here, kind of play around with whatever feels best. Keep that chest nice and tall here. Big deep breath in and out. And then go ahead and bring yourself back to both knees on the ground this time for some scapular push-ups. Not really push-ups, they're just more scapular mobilization, I should say. So place that mat or pillow underneath both of your knees this time. And then you're gonna get on all fours here. So what this looks like is we're gonna do a lot of scapular work here. So what you wanna pay attention to with this is you're kind of doing push-ups in a sense. So you're keeping your back nice and straight, and then you're pushing up and then releasing. So you won't, it's kind of hard to see on me, but you'll feel it. It's just a very, very small movement where we're kind of doing a cat-cow, but not really because we're keeping our back straight, but you're pushing up and away, and then you're sinking those shoulder blades, kind of squeezing them in the back. So do a couple pulses here. You'll take a second to kind of get a good feeling of what this feels like, but you want to keep that back nice and straight. That's the most important thing. And then you're just pushing with the shoulder muscles or the shoulder blades. So rounding of the back, or rounding of the shoulders, I should say, and then squeezing those shoulders together. Let's do a few more here. And last one. Excellent job. Go ahead and walk your hands back up. We're done with the mat for now. Moving into the last three stretches here, we're gonna get into what we call a butterfly stretch. So we have a couple different options, right? You can place your feet together and pull your feet in. This takes a lot of flexibility, but it's a great inner thigh stretch. Or you take those feet out wider and then you lean forward and you lean into it. So play around with that, whatever feels best here, but you wanna make sure that your feet are together. So you're not necessarily sitting crisscross applesauce, you're just literally making a butterfly with your hips here. You can lean into it. Just remember not to bounce back and forth into that stretch. So find a good position here. Keep that back nice and straight. The chest should be out and open. We don't want to kind of be leaning down. That's going to put a lot of pain or stress on your lower back, but nice and straight, making sure you're just kind of glancing a little bit forward here with this stretch. Excellent job. Couple more here. We'll get into what we call a figure 4 stretch here in about 5 or 6 seconds. So with this stretch, many of you have seen me do it seated in a lot of my chair classes, but this time we're going to be doing it, well, seated on the floor. So go ahead and get yourself positioned to where you are kind of in a crab walk position. Feet are flat on the ground here, and then we're just gonna take that left leg, place that left heel on top of your right knee, and then you're going to push just with your own weight. We don't really want to use our hands. We want to stay nice and balanced, but just push that left knee kind of straight so that you start to feel that stretch in the outer hip area. So to get a little bit of a deeper stretch, you can bring that right leg closer. That's going to allow your left leg to push a little bit harder, or take that right leg out if you need a little bit of a less of a stretch. So play around with what feels best here. I like to kind of be right in the middle. This is really good for hip mobility, really, really good to do after a leg workout or a walk. Go ahead and relax that left leg. Same thing on the other side. So taking that right ankle this time on top of that left knee. And then again, just using the pressure of that right knee, just pushing that knee down and away from you. Feeling that stretch right here in the outer hip. Keep that chest nice and tall, deep breaths. And go ahead and release out of that. Last part of this stretch, which is my absolute favorite, is child's pose. So with this child's pose, you might want to take that mat again up underneath of your knees. It's totally up to you. But when I start a child's pose, I like to start on my knees as so, my feet touching here, okay? So those feet should either be overlapped or just touching. And then we're going to sit back, draw those knees out as wide as you feel like you can go, and then you walk yourself out into that child's pose. That is probably the best way to get into a child's pose nice and comfortably. And then we're just gonna let ourselves nice straight back here, deep breaths, really reach out as far as you can here, elongate that spine. Feel free to walk it over to the left side, get a deeper stretch here in the left side of your torso. Sorry, right side of your torso if we're leaning to the left. And then same thing to the right. Go ahead and walk your hands over to the right, getting a good stretch in the left side of your torso there. And then walk yourself back to the middle. And then as you're ready, go ahead and slowly walk yourself back up to that seated position. There you have it, Mighty Family. There is my personal favorite post-workout stretch. Nice and quick, about 20-23 minutes, but a really good thing to do daily, even if you're not working out, but definitely after a workout. So thank you all for joining me today. Have a great rest of your day. If you would like to attend more live classes like these, click the link in the description below.